Good morning to another edition of Ask the Millionaire. I'm Marc Kramer. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I have a consulting practice called Stress Free Family Business, where I work with family businesses, and I have another practice called Kramer Communications, where I work with entrepreneurs developing and implementing sales and marketing plans. I also am the executive director of the Private Investors Forum, where we connect entrepreneurs with investors. And I also run a podcast called The Best Business Mind, where I interview business book authors every Friday, and you're more than welcome to participate. So this morning I'm in another part of my home because there's literally construction going on outside my window here in Philadelphia, and I wanted to make sure you didn't hear that construction. So let's get started. The first question is from Keenan Gambios. Keenan writes, "We are creating and selling products to help gamers be more comfortable and focus on their performance and skill in games so they can play better for longer. Long-term goals include working with players as professional athletes in esports tournaments, providing them with products they need to help secure a win. I'm trying to determine what other things I can be doing to get the company ready as we wait for the tech development to be done." I have had that problem many times myself. And if I were you, what I would be doing is, of course, writing out a plan and paper, but I'd be thinking about how am I going to get the sales? So I'd be working on a sales and marketing plan first, then sales. How am I going to raise the visibility to these people? What kind of partnerships do I need to develop that will get the word out about my product? Who would I get to go and sell this product? What stores should I be on to do that? And showing the stores what I'm planning on doing. So right now, what you should be totally focused on as the product is developing is talking to potential end customers, distributors, and strategic partners. And you're going to actually learn some things from talking to them, especially the end buyer, because the end buyer might give you ideas on how you can improve that product before you actually offer it. I know because I'm starting a new venture called Funding Organizer, and it's to help people put together all their information, to apply for a bank loan. And what I've been doing is I've been showing this to different bank loan officers, and each time they've given me some good suggestions on how to improve it. So the development took longer, but we're going to have a great product. So now is a good time for you to go and set up those relationships with potential strategic partners, interview salespeople if you're going to hire them, and figure out what your marketing strategy is going to be, both on social media, because we know gamers are big on social media, and maybe even what kind of videos you're going to create to show your product, and maybe show it on YouTube and Vimeo and some of the other things. So right now, take the time to go and write a plan out. Okay, our second question is from Lisa Nitswinski. Lisa writes, "I self-published my first book this year, congratulations, on May 1st, 2020. Although I'm still getting a few sales here and there, I wish I knew how to get the word about my book out there. One of the problems may be that it's a very niche subject, and which I honestly thought would be a good thing. It's called You Want to Be a Dental Hygienist, the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, as that is my profession by trade for the last decade. I had approached a marketing company and even told them that since it's a very niche topic, that their marketing efforts would be targeted more toward me as the author instead of the book. I have reached out to colleges and university programs and their directors, and even sent out free copies of the book in hopes they would turn to promote it to their students. I'm feeling frustrated." So you're right. This is a very niche topic, and only somebody who would be considering being a dental hygienist. And I think that some of the things that you're doing are good. Contacting high schools, the guidance counselors, to let them know about this book, and giving some of those books away for free and getting endorsements from people. I would also go and contact podcasters who focus on careers and offer yourself up as a guest to talk about being a career hygienist. I don't think a lot of people think about that necessarily as a career, that they might think of other things, but it is a career. And for any of us that goes to dentist, we might be seeing the same hygienist for 10, 20 years. So it's very important. So I would go and contact high school guidance counselors. If I were you, I would contact podcasters that focus on education and focus on career development, career paths, and see if they'd like to have you on. I would also make sure that I put out to all of my friends about this book and ask them to mention it on their Facebook pages, because I think Facebook's good for that. And also if they can tweet about, oh, their friend has a new book out. And if you have friends who are thinking about, or kids who are thinking about wanting to be a dental hygienist, that would be great. And then I would write columns online and say, if you're looking for a job that you can have interpersonal action with people, or you can make it something fun in the thing, would you like to go down their throat, or something creative that will grab people, that will want to read what you're writing about being a dental hygienist, and then you can promote your book. You're going to have to be very creative about this, because it's not like you wrote a book about how to become an angel investor or an entrepreneur. So again, contact high school guidance counselors, contact people who are in the dental hygiene business, who are schooling people on how to become dental hygienists. Contact all of your friends and contact all the podcasters that do shows on career. Good luck with that. Again, congratulations. Writing a book is difficult. I've written 6 of them. I really admire that you stepped forward and did it. The next question is from Francesca Nicasio. Francesca writes, I own a copywriting business. I'm always hiring freelancers to deliver on content projects. I sometimes worry that they might approach my existing clients and offer to handle their content needs for less. My elevator pitch is I help B2B companies generate traffic and leads through content marketing. I craft editorial calendars and produce content that's loved by readers and search engines alike. How do you deal with the possibility of your employees and contractors stealing your customers? That's a great question, especially when you're in a service business. And so what we can do is have a non-compete agreement that you could have them sign before they do it, or a non-solicitation, which is more likely that would hold up in court, a non-solicitation agreement. And frankly, most people don't want to go out on their own. If you can keep them busy and they can make a reasonable living working for you, and they don't have to handle the sales, because most entrepreneurs and especially consultants hate sales. So I don't think you have a lot to worry about with those folks. The only thing you have to worry about is if they did get a big contract and try to cut you out, but you're the one developing the contract with the people. They're signing it with your organization, and you are deciding who to have on it. And if you want to, you can always switch it up. If it's a long-term contract, you can decide you're going to have different writers each quarter so nobody gets locked in to a particular area. One thing I would definitely do if I were you is contact an attorney to have them draw up a document, because the laws are different in every state. And so if you're doing things across the country, then you need to be aware of what will hold up in court. And let's face it, if you get a contract and one of your employees tries to walk off with it, or does walk off with it, it's got to be a pretty substantial contract, because the average cost of a lawsuit is $50,000. That doesn't even include the time of preparation and everything else. So I doubt that you'll ever want to go in that direction. But if you want to kind of make sure the employees know you're serious, go to an attorney, have a non-compete or a non-solicitation agreement developed, and I think you should be good with that. Brad Coleman. Brad talks about his business. Hello, in my business, I need to place an inventory stock order. Since this is the first big order I do, not having any reoccurring revenue from a previous order. I've done all sample orders and everything looks good. Now it's time for a production order. Is there any advice you can give on big order amounts if you are purchasing again for the first time? Did you bootstrap, take a loan, have an investor? Trying to find a way of making revenue and using that for reoccurring shipments. The question he asked is, when starting your inventory stock, how did you first pay for the order? Did you use your own money and investors or take a loan? I'm trying to make a production order from a factory and would like advice on capital needed. So there's a couple ways that you can go here. If I were you, with the rate, with interest rates being as low as they are, I would borrow the money from the bank. And before I borrowed the money from the bank, I would see if the company you're doing production with, would take a small amount up front and become the bank for you, so that they essentially would be loaning you the money, and maybe they would charge a little bit more for that product, but they would be also on the hook for taking some of the risk. And if they really like your idea and they think it can go well, which I've seen with other companies that this has been done, where the manufacturer said, I really like this product, how can I be an equity participant? And so sometimes they'll underwrite the product and take a piece of the profit. Sometimes they'll take a piece of the profit and ask to be an equity holder, meaning stock in the company. So there's a lot of things that you can do. But the first thing I would do after I've talked to them is I would go and see what a bank would loan you money at and what collateral you would have to put up, because you're definitely going to have to put up collateral, probably your house collateral, or if you have any kind of buildings that you own, because they like things that can easily be sold if in fact things go sideways and you can't go and sell the product. The other thing that you can do, and I've seen companies do this, a friend of mine had developed a product for women, a device that if they were scared, they'd push this button and it would send a message to everybody. She pre-sold it online, and she said, I'm trying to raise $35,000 for a production of this. She sold $350,000 worth of this product. And I also think that that's a good way to go, so you can see if people are actually interested in your product or not. Because if you put it online, you find out that nobody's willing to buy it, and you share the prototype, then why waste your money and time doing it? I have a client right now. She has a prototype of a product, and I feel we should start marketing that out and see if we could get pre-orders from people, and that would determine whether or not this thing is going to sell. I have another client that developed kind of a product that you could tape radio shows for. And I said, before building this thing and developing the product, why not go and see if people would pre-buy this product in advance, so you can get a sense of people? Because if you did a survey, oftentimes people say, oh my God, that's a great product, I'll buy that product. And then when you say to them, okay, will you give me your credit card for it? Well, I'm not so sure, let me see when it comes out. And then you find out that it's maybe 10 or 20% of those people who said they would buy it. And then you can extrapolate from that how much sales really would be. So again, I would go and see if the company that's producing it might want to get involved, if you want to sell some of the equity in the company or give them a split of the profits. I would go after that to a bank and have the bank give you a loan. Of course, you're going to have to put up some assets for it, but the interest rates are so low right now, and you could spread the loan out at least 5 years, maybe a little bit longer. That's what I would go and do. Okay, Michael Piley. Michael asked, we've taken a big hit this year. I need both positions, but I need more sales to keep a service manager busy. Where can I find a salesperson and make sure they are a good fit for my team and my needs? Could it be possible to find a person that could do both positions until they only fill the service position? How do you know who to hire next, a service manager or a salesperson? Without a doubt, you are better off hiring a salesperson, because as you already said, sales are down. It's not like you're overwhelmed with sales and you need a service person to handle those sales. So I would start out with a salesperson, and I would do the service in-house or find somebody that could do it on an hourly basis. Usually the skills for a salesperson and a service person are usually different. The salesperson is very aggressive. They're trying to get out there. They're contacting as many people, but they're usually not as detail oriented as service people are. People who do service don't like to get out and sell. They like to be behind the scenes and taking care of making sure everything works appropriately. So if I were looking to hire a salesperson, I would go and contact a few different people. One is I would contact my friends who know me, know my personality, and I trust, and ask them, do they know of anybody who they think would be a good fit for this product or service that I'm offering, and could they make an introduction? I would put information out on Facebook and out on LinkedIn, and I put a criteria of what I'm looking for, and then ask people to send me their resumes. I would contact the local Chamber of Commerce and the local Economic Development Organization and ask them. And if you have clients already, clients are a great source of referrals for sales and service people because they understand your product because they bought it before. I would ask those people if in fact they would know anyone who would be a good fit for you. So those are the areas, if I were you, I would go down, and you'll find somebody good. Gabriel Suarez. Gabriel writes, I have a franchise company. We sell a business model for all natural wellness specialty store. We are new with 7 locations. Congratulations, 7 locations. That's a lot. And traditionally, we counted on franchising trade shows and expos to find qualified leads and begin selling franchises. I figured as our footprint grew, we could get more organic leads interest from visiting another store, landing on our website. With all trade shows canceled and franchising being a new industry, I'm still learning every day about what we're struggling to track down candidates that we could pitch our franchise to. Also note, because we did sell CBD oil, we cannot advertise on any social media, Google, or most traditional methods. Okay, so you have a bricks and mortar store, and that's hard right now because of COVID, because for a lot of states, people still aren't getting out and shopping at stores. There are some places in the country where they can open up the shop and 25% of the shop can be filled. Some states like Florida, it's wide open. Anybody can do anything. But I think right now, it's going to be harder to sell franchises. But what I would do is say to people, if you're considering doing this, let's have a conversation so when you're ready, we can jump right into it. And understand and acknowledge what COVID is doing right now, and don't push too hard to go and sell these franchises. Tell people eventually this is going to turn around, and certainly it will turn around after a cure is found, and we're hopeful that that will be in the spring because they're getting closer. And I would start developing conversations with people doing it. I would contact lawyers who work with people who like to do franchising. I would contact accountants and let accountants know that you have this franchise, and if they have any clients, they're doing this. I would contact outplacement firms because people who've lost their jobs are thinking, I'd like to have a job that I can control. And that's the beauty of franchising. So I would contact all of these outplacement firms and go to see if you can do presentations online for them to talk about your franchise. And I would contact by mailing list of people who are nutritionists or have health degrees and see if they would be interested in having conversation with you about either starting a franchise, or they could recommend people they think would be good with the franchise. And I would go and write blogs about this and tweet about statistics on this. And I would show products on Instagram that you're allowed to go and show. So I would do all of those things in order to develop relationships that will hopefully lead to sales, but be realistic. Right now, it's a difficult time if you're running a bricks and mortar store because so many of them are going out of business. So people are going to be a little bit hesitant. That being said, you should also tell people they have negotiating power for those bricks and mortar stores so they can get the best possible deal now, because when the economy does turn around, they won't get as good a deal as they could get. And maybe in some cases, they might be able to get 6 months of free rent, which will take them through to when hopefully a cure will be ready. Well, our next question is from Lisa Fittler. Lisa asked, best web chat for small business that doesn't need an agent to answer. Just a place to filter website questions to have a response if available, to leave a message for a website, Instagram, and Facebook to funnel. My question is, a bridal store, most questions are about our price, what types of products we have, or schedule or an appointment. So I don't really know the answer to that question because I haven't had to deal with that yet. But I would contact people who develop e-commerce sites and ask them what they might recommend. And I would go to my favorite stores online and ask them what they're using to do it. And in the interim, you can have on your website a list of Q&As, and where they go and click on a question and up comes the answer. And that's kind of the old school way of doing it, but that would be something I would go and do. So I would go and contact some of the sites that you admire that have use the kind of product that you're interested in, ask them about it. I'd contact those folks for demos. I would go and contact clients that might have used, some of your customers that might have used something similar, and get their input on it. And I would go old school on the interim to go and have these questions. And also, because you're dealing with brides and yours is very unique, you could go and have a bridal forum and have people talking about what it's like to go and arrange a wedding. So you could interview different brides and talk about what they went through in the buying process of buying a gown, of arranging their event, especially now where we're not doing these live events in terms of getting married. It might be just small groups of people. So there's a lot of ways that you could go and do marketing and get your point across, and at the same time learn about what products make the most sense for what you're looking for. Okay, Joe Nugent asked, I'm looking to hire a part-time salesperson for my home inspection company. I'm having a challenge with determining how to pay their commission. Not sure if I should do a flat fee or a percentage of the sale to make it a win-win. If it's a long-term sale, like you were selling a $25,000, $50,000 product, you're going to have to go and give them a salary and a commission. If it's something that happens relatively quickly, then it could be commission. Look, when you see car salespeople, they sell on straight commission because somebody who comes in looking for a car is going to make a pretty quick decision. Sales, insurance people sell on commission. Now that is a longer term sale, but it's usually not a big number sale where you have to get a lot of people to sign on board. So although those people take commission, that would be the case. But in your particular business, home inspection, I think commission works out just fine because people are going to need it relatively quickly. The home inspection is going to be, I'm sure you're getting a lot of leads from realtors. They're sending it to you. And you're looking for somebody to contact other realtors so they could send you more opportunity. So I think a commission basis could work out really well for somebody, especially somebody who might be looking for a part-time job, a parent that's staying home that wants to earn some extra money, that has some sales experience, that is aggressive. So if I were you, I would definitely go with the commission basis. And I think it's fair because, again, it's a sale that's immediate. It's not a long-term sale, and it's not getting a lot of people to have to sign off on it. Well, that was our last question for today. I so appreciate everybody asking these questions. I look forward to seeing you all again soon. Please stay safe and stay healthy. And I hope your families stay healthy as well. And by the way, I fractured my ankle walking my dog. And why did I fracture it? Because it wasn't very bright. I was looking at my phone, reading my phone, as I always do, and I tripped over the leash and fractured my ankle. So the smart thing to do is don't read and walk at the same time unless you have a great skill at that. Have a great day and a great weekend. Thank you.